All right. So let's begin. Thanks everybody for taking the time out of their day today to learn a little bit more about A&B Insurance and Financial, some of the opportunities that we have with Florida Blue. As I said a little bit earlier, for those of you that just joined, if you've got any questions, use the toolbox up on the top right-hand side of your screen. And if you do that, type in any questions that you have. I'll probably address them as we go through our presentation today. And anything that we don't answer, obviously we'll talk about a little bit later and follow up together. So my name is Mark Carbellano, and what we're going to do is kind of go through things today and just make sure that everybody understands what is going on, who we are, and really just making sure that we are all on the same page. A&B Insurance and Financial, I just want to remind everybody, it gets a little crazy, but we have less than 95 days left to open enrollment. So that's open enrollment for ACA. If you're talking Medicare, even less, 60 plus days. So October 1st, we're going to have our open enrollment, start marketing for Medicare Advantage plans. As we get to marketing and enrolling off marketplace is going to start on October the 1st, and then on marketplace, of course, November 1, that's going to open up. So we're going to talk a little bit about, our team, who we are, what we do a little bit, and obviously go through a lot of the details that we have available for you. We have been a contracted general agency for over 35 years now. Now, I personally haven't been here for 35 years, but there's been a lot of changes in the industry over the past few years, as you can imagine. We have really adopted and embraced a lot of technology. We have, a lot of landing pages, a lot of marketing efforts that we put forth when it comes to TV, when it comes to radio. But at the end of the day, our goal as the team leader, as the agency, what we make sure we do is we market for you, the agent. And we make sure that we are pushing, that we are giving you the opportunity. And our team has grown and still continues to do not only grassroots marketing, but also on the phone marketing. So, if you're working down in South Florida, if you're working, anywhere in the state, 67 counties that we're servicing, our team is here, and we build our team around what is best suited for you. What we do is we make sure that you have the access to the tools, we make sure that you have access to the opportunity, and we work with you directly to build that opportunity. And, as we explore different contract options, that'll kind of become a lot clearer on some of the levels of support that we have. So A&B Insurance, Florida Blue, great, we know who they are. That's easy, right? But who the hell is A&B Insurance? Well, for the past 6 years, we have been the #1 agency for Florida Blue, the overall production leader, largest production in the under 65 ACA products, as well as their over 65 products as well. So whether you're working in ACA, whether you're working in Medicare Advantage, Medicare supplements, we have got a home for you. And then in addition to that, our business has changed a lot, right? And an agent these days who's not embracing ancillary products and other products to sell outside of the 45-day window is really hurting yourself from an earning capacity. And we'll talk more about that as we get through our presentation today. But when you're really looking at an agency, you have got some big decisions to make. And these are serious decisions, not a fly-by-night decision. It's not something that you want to be jumping from, one agency to another, but you really want to vet that decision and make sure the team that you're working with is really going to support you and be able to give you the things that you need in order to be successful. So some of the things when you're choosing an agency, whether it's A&B Insurance, there's other general agencies that are out there that you can look at and you can talk to. Great guys, great girls, but where are you going to have the best success? Well, that's someone with a proven track record, someone who is going to support you and your business model, making sure they're offering contract options that make sense. I always say that, a 1,000-point contract is beautiful, but if you got nobody to talk to and no one's helping you sell, then that 1,000-point contract isn't very worth it now, is it? But we have multiple options and we market for our agents. So we make sure that in all of our directives, you saw some of the TV, the Today Show stuff that we get to do and really getting out in the community, we're always driving it back to the agent and making sure the agent is involved, that trusted advisor that you have to become if you're not already. We make sure that you have tools and technology to make life easier, and that is making sure that you can work effectively and efficiently and working smarter rather than harder, and also access to a portfolio that pays you weekly. So that way you have products throughout the year, because there's a lot of other time outside of 45 days just in open enrollment. So, as you think about what you're going to do, and as we explore some of the conversations and we talk about things that are available to you, one of the really tough conversations we're going to ask each other is, what are you going to do the rest of the year? How involved are you going to be? And that really is going to blend towards your earning potential. So let's talk about the 8,000-pound gorilla in the room, that is Blue Cross. Blue Cross, what did they do in 2018? Yet again, we were the sales leader in Florida with a contract with A&B. What we're talking about today is Florida Blue. So 1.3 million enrolled members for 1/1, and that's continues to grow because we're continuing to write SCPs. We have products that are available both on and off the marketplace. We also have products available on all metal levels. Catastrophic, not so much, but we have 0 deductible plans that are going to be available on gold, platinum, gold, silver with the cost share variant, of course. So you're going to have 0 deductible plans, low out-of-pocket expenses, great benefits, lots of free doctor visits and special care programs. Really designed a portfolio that is absolutely amazing. If you're not selling. If you're selling against it now, you probably recognize that. Products in 67 counties. That's right. There's 67 counties in the state of Florida, and we did not pick and choose to decide where and who we were going to help, where it was most profitable. Now, I understand, the other carriers like United or Humana, they had to pull out of the marketplace. They couldn't make any money, and they couldn't have the network support. Well, they did have some of that stuff, but it wasn't a profitable solution. Well, as you hear in the name, it's Florida Blue. We did not decide not to help our Florida residents. So we will help every Florida resident in all 67 counties. We also offer 4 different networks to choose from. That's going to make a big difference in price selection. So that way you can alter your network based on price sensitivity to the market. And obviously, the larger the network, the more expensive some of those products can be. And of course, that's depending on county, cost share variation, subsidies, so on and so forth. Enrollment tools to avoid the marketplace. I'd love to ask a question. You guys are selling ACA now. How many of you are enrolling directly on the marketplace? Maybe you're using a third-party tool. You may be using like an ACA Express or, a Benefit Geek or a Health Sherpa. Are any of you kind of enrolling right through member accounts, working with the marketplace like that? I'm getting some yes answers. Yes. So the way we've got a direct enrollment pathway. So that's really helpful in tracking and making sure that you're watching your business, having completed applications for all of your business with signatures. So it's really nice for you to be able to have that backup, especially if some of you may have experienced issues with getting paid. If the carrier doesn't want to pay you, they say they never got the file feed, those kind of things. Now you have backup, and we work really closely with the carrier to make sure that is acceptable for you and you're getting paid. We do it because we want to help people, right? Well, sometimes you want to get paid as well. So what is Blue going to look like in 2019? So really, we're going to continue to offer product in the entire state, all 67 counties. So we're going to have our products on marketplace and off, and that will continue as well. The product line is going to stay stable. There's not going to be any plan closures. We're not going to have any situations where we're going to have to worry about people, terminating their plan, moving them, things like that. We're also going to see an expansion of Medicare products. Some really interesting products. We released dual eligible products in South Florida and Central Florida this year, and we're going to see an expansion in that. Now, if I tell you exactly where they're going to be, I would have to kill you, but Well, no. So we'll be able to talk about that. That's something that you can absolutely embrace. There's actually going to be some enhancement tools. FFM certification opened up, a couple days ago. So as you guys are going through that process, you're going to see that the double redirect may not be applicable. So that means that, right now we're going out to the marketplace, we're looking up the application, we're going through this process. So there's going to be some enhancement on tools for renewals and new business this year, which should really make a difference overall. So we're really excited about that. So I get this question all the time is, Mark, what do you think open enrollment is going to look like this year? I think it's going to be great. I think that this open enrollment, you're not going to see a whole bunch of significant changes to ACA. So when you look at, the portfolio, when you look at the enrollment timing, when you look at the rules of engagement, so to speak, you're not going to see huge changes in ACA. But wait, Mark, we're going to have a reduction. They're not going to have an individual mandate anymore. So what does that mean, right? So if there's no individual mandate, why are people going to buy health insurance? Well, believe it or not, before all of this Obamacare stuff or the Affordable Care Act, whatever you want to call it, came out, people still bought insurance. Now, the problem was it wasn't free, right? Or it wasn't, $3. So we've kind of changed that mindset. So about 85% to 90% of all of the enrollments that we did at A&B were of a higher subsidy level. And we did take some surveys of our clientele and talk to them. And really, the people that are about 450% or more of the federal poverty level, those people are going to have some tough decisions to make, whether this individual mandate is going to, make the difference from having coverage or not. Or maybe going to an alternative plan, some sort of short-term solution, or some other plan, which we have those solutions for the people that we talk to. So really, if someone is unhealthy, if someone needs that, the guaranteed issue provision with no pre-existing condition clauses and they're over 450, they're probably going to have to just pay the money and just really decide because they're going to need the coverage. They need the coverage. And for the other folks that are highly subsidized, they won't be impacted. They're not going to see rate increases. And they're, if they're getting a policy for a few dollars or free, in most counties, Florida Blue offered a free plan for anyone that was 250% of the FPL or lower. And in some counties, even a higher income. So depending on, the competition, depending on what's out there, you'll probably see that again this year. So that's really great opportunities. So Medicare is going to change as well. We've got some Medicare enrollment windows that are changing. So we have that disenrollment period, which is going to be through January 1st through February the 14th. Now, those of you that are aware of this, Medicare beneficiaries will have an opportunity, instead of going back to original Medicare only, well, they'll be able to select a different Medicare Advantage plan. One-time selection, that does open up some opportunity for us after the enrollment. And nobody wants to talk about it, but let's just be honest. Political controversy, people are going to be throwing stones all over the place. Who hates who and who voted for who and who did what. And at the end of the day, the people are always stuck in the middle, and typically it's the folks who need the insurance. And we really want to make sure that at this time of indecision, this time of political controversy, that a trusted advisor, an agent, is part of the equation in the decision-making process. So more than ever, I think it's probably, like almost as good as the first and second year where, people had questions. They didn't know what the heck was going on. So what are you going to do? I need to call somebody. And we've seen that the number of enrollments that were done, through the FFM, through direct enrollment methods without an agent, they typically are calling an agent after they've done it. So we need you to get involved now. We need you to be a part of that decision-making process, getting out into your community, talking to people, and really be, getting involved. We will have one new player in the ACA market. If we talk about Medicare, there's always new players and new changes going on in the Medicare market. It's crazy what's going on there. But in ACA, we'll have Oscar, it looks like, and they'll be in Central Florida. those of you that know much about Oscar, there's probably not going to be a huge impact. They're very, very narrow network products, so it should be interesting to see. And they've done really well in some states, but their enrollment levels are, pretty low compared to what we're doing at Florida Blue. So we have a couple different contract options that are going to be available. Going to kind of get right into some of this stuff. So we have agency contracts. So those of you that are on the call today, we got a good crew on the call today. Those of you that own an agency, we've got agency contracts. We have got, other options for you, what we call unsupported contracts. We have supported contracts as well. Those are like lead contracts, and we'll get into some of the details. And then, of course, we're hiring for our in-house sales team, and we'll explore all of these options together in a lot of detail. Now, I do want to talk a little bit about the captive versus exclusive and what this means and how this works. So when you sell Florida Blue, you only sell Florida Blue for Medicare and for ACA plans. You can continue to do whatever you do in group. Now, I just got off the phone with someone about an hour ago. I said, I was talking to this guy, and, he sells Florida Blue, but, he also sells everything else. Playing with fire, okay? Because if Blue Cross catches you on that, they'll terminate your contract for cause, and they'll stop paying you. So it's not, does the juice worth the squeeze, right? We only sell Florida Blue. Well, we're the only carrier in 67 counties. We are super competitive in every other county. There are, very few counties. Somebody says, well, if you're priced out of the market, we won't sell anything. Give you an example. In Hillsborough and Pinellas County, we're about $50 a member outside of the lowest cost carrier, yet we have 52% of the market share in the counties. So that tells you a lot. There's a price that we pay for a higher quality coverage, making sure that they have and folks have the access of care that they need. But you would remain exclusive to Florida Blue when it comes to Medicare and ACA. But when it comes to group products, you can do whatever you want. You can sell any carrier that's out there under the sun. You're not held to any of those exclusivity products on, exclusivity rules on group insurance. So individual, Medicare, good. Got to be exclusive to Blue. I'm not brokering. I'm not selling Molina. I'm not selling anybody else. So when people say, oh, I'm captive, and some people, I like to call it exclusive. And at the end of the day, are you really hurting anyone? If you're selling Medicare and you've got a huge book of Medicare, that's a different conversation. If you're a Medicare broker now, if you are, an ACA agent, it's really an easy conversation to have. So let's pause for a second. Let me just answer some questions. Any of you got any questions about the captivity or the exclusivity? And then I can move on. First question coming in from James. I have a book of business in South Florida. Do I need to terminate my contract with them? So the answer is no. So we don't disturb your current contract or your current book of business. Everything is right as rain. You just can't secure any new business under that contract. So you can't go out and be, have a tent up for AM Better or Molina and, be marketing that. And then on the back side of the tent, have Blue Cross. Doesn't work that way. So, you can still continue to do what you do. You can still continue to service that book of business. However, you just can't write any new business under a different carrier. Can I appoint with just ACA and not ACA? Just ACA and not Medicare. I just can't read today. It's all the same thing. So can I appoint with ACA but leave my Medicare alone? And the answer is no, unfortunately. I wish I could do that. I can't split the appointment. It's one appointment for Medicare as well as ACA, if I could possibly read today. It's great. So, all right. Any other questions? Got another one here. I am currently in an IMO. Can you continue to sell life insurance through the IMO? So that is going to depend on whether you are looking for a supported relationship, unsupported relationship. all intents and purposes, if you're looking for leads or not. And I'll explore that a little bit more when we get into the different types of contracts. But life insurance, you can continue to sell whatever you do. That's so. It just then we make a decision on do you need lead support or no lead support with what you're doing. Great question. All right, going to move on. Very good. All right, so let's first talk about the agency contracts. That's probably one of the easiest ones for us to talk about. Typically, the way that works is you're going to need 3 agents plus the principal agent to get appointed. This is good for a lot of P&C agencies that are out there, or agencies that are really grassroots out in the marketplace. Agency contracts also, we can talk about and explore for those of you that are going to really meet all of the requirements. So the way that works is you get paid direct by the carrier. So we do that on a one-check system. So we issue you an agency contract. There's only 2 people you can get a direct agency contract from in the entire state. That's ourselves and another company called Rogers Benefit. Now, the reason why would I mention that? I mean, because I have no problems mentioning it, because you need to know what's out there. The contract is the same. So if you're getting a paid direct, basically an MAA contract, that contract, you meet the requirements, it's the same level for everybody. So it's not like it's a negotiating kind of thing. You, as the agency owner, will build all of the support and the opportunity. You're doing that. So we're not providing you with leads. We're not providing you with, marketing support in dollars. That's between you and the carrier at that point. So Blue Cross will provide certain support when it comes to marketing support, and that's based on production. So we'll talk about that. We meet with the area manager once they go through the approval process, and depending on you and what you have set up, make sure that that's a fit. You must also have a physical agency location. So that means that the area manager is going to come out. They're going to do a site inspection, make sure that you're not working out of your home. It can't be a home office, but that way you have that location to support your team. And really, in essence, you would already have a team put together. You would already be doing this. Just a matter of, if you want to embrace this option. Now, I will make a point here that if you are doing an agency contract, the entire agency needs to be exclusive. So if you have, I have 5 agents in my agency, but 3 of us will do Blue Cross and the other 2 are going to continue to do whatever they do, that doesn't work. And unfortunately, it's not something that would be a violation or a bastardization, excuse the expression, of the contract. And we hold that true, because when you sell Florida Blue, you're only talking to people who live in Florida. You're only talking to Blue Cross agents, people who live here, people who work here. So, that's one of the differences with us compared to some of the other carriers that are using some call center in Timbuktu and Timbuktu. And, you never know who you're talking about. We know what's going on in Florida, and that's a big difference as well. All right, as we move on, let's talk about probably one of our most popular contracts, and that is a supported agent option. So one of the things, and I'll spend probably the most amount of time on here, is the one thing that you have to understand is that with our supported agency contracts, we keep you busy, right? So we don't charge anything for a supported agent. You're not paying for leads. You're not paying for a lead system. We're including live transfers. We're including full support and training. Now, we're going to support you and train you in all of these things, but from a lead support, this is the way to go. If you're an agent out in the field, if you are not making enough money, you're not putting down enough applications, are you meeting your financial requirements where you want to be with a growth perspective? And, are you embracing a product line and portfolio that's paying you weekly and monthly? Do you have everything you need in one spot to be successful? If you don't, you need to re-examine what you're doing. I meet with agents all the time, and I love it sometimes. But one of the things that we talk about is like, oh, I just started working for this company, and they want me to buy my leads. Well, with A&B, you're not going to buy your leads. You are going to get engaged. You are going to be, with us. You'll have access to our phone systems, our CRM. We do weekly meetings that you can join in on. You can, take advantage of our support. You can work in one of our offices. You can work from home because all of our tools are accessible no matter where you're at. And we make sure that if you're following our pathway, especially with ancillary product sales, you're going to get paid every single week. It's funny. We used to joke around, it's a business in a box. You get in and you sell. If you're going to put the effort in, you are going to make money. I promise. Never have an agent come into my office and say, I'm not busy as I want to be. I'm usually the one saying, hey, who wants to get busier? Who wants to do more? We will do things like outside services. We'll be in shows. We'll be in events. You guys can go out there. You can participate in those shows, can participate in those events, get engaged with everything that we're doing. You want to sell group insurance, we'll get you out into the market selling group insurance. You want to sell individual. We have to have a plan, right? And we make sure that we work with our supported agents to get a plan. The only thing that we need to make sure that we understand is, are you dedicated and are you doing it because, I want to support and our team wants to support those agents who need, request, and desire that support. So then that's option number, 2. Then we have unsupported agent. So an unsupported agent is, we support you for enrollment, questions, education, but we're not providing you with leads. We're not providing you, we are still giving you the full training, but you don't get the live transfers. You still get access to all of the products that pay weekly. Get to keep your book of business, and you really need a book of business in order for you to be successful as an unsupported agent. So, if a lot of agents will come to us and say, I've got a book of AM Better or Molina, and, I really want Blue now. This is a good solution for you if your book is substantial. If you got 10 people on that book and that's not going to pay you and make you survive through the year, how else are you going to put that business together? You may want to look at an unsupported agent rather than unsupported. We're really good at creating leads and creating opportunity, and we've gotten a lot of secret sauce that has been really successful for us over the years, and we want to, provide those opportunities to you. But an unsupported agent just, won't get that. We instill some extra money into the contract, so you get paid a little bit more. And that's really it. But you still have access to us. We're here to help you. We're here to train you. We'll get you going, do everything we can. Just won't have access to the lead systems and things like that. Question coming in, is this for online sales only? So no. But ACA, the ACA, the Affordable Care Act, free Obamacare, that's really only online. You're not submitting an ACA plan, paper application, belly to belly. Medicare, yeah. You could absolutely do Medicare, belly to belly. And, it's a management of your expectations of income, time, how much effort you're putting into it in order to make sure that we are, adhering to that. So, and also, if you are only doing face-to-face sales, I cannot, I would be silly for me to only give you leads that are in your local area. Now, if you go unsupported, that's no problem. You could do all your sales face-to-face, meet with everyone if you'd like to. If you're in South Florida, you're dealing with church groups, you're dealing with large, social networks that you're going in and enrolling all of those. But if you want the belly-to-belly stuff, it's just a little bit more challenging. It's so hard. You got 45 days to make a lot of money, so we want to make sure that you're getting the most out of it. So then we have our in-house sales teams, and I got to tell you that, over the past 2 years, I've been seeing more and more of a migration of agents that were accustomed to commission only moving to in-house sales. And, the reason why, it's because it's becoming more and more difficult as an agent to make ends meet, especially when you're buying leads. So, take the first step. If you're buying leads, if you're doing all that on your own and you're making a couple dollars more than everybody else, maybe you need to think about going to a supported agent role, looking at what our contract levels are, seeing if that makes sense, because instead of buying leads, maybe you should just be using our systems and, okay, I get paid $3 or $4 less, or 2% on this product or whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, you're going to have way more people to talk to, way more opportunity and better success. Now, I see agents that do that, supported agent, but then they need the structure. They need the office to go in every day. You need the team behind you. You need a weekly paycheck. You need to make sure that you are getting paid for your education, making sure that you have access to a weekly predictable pay. We do bonuses on a weekly basis. In our Tampa location is a little different than our Central and South Florida location. I'll explore that in a quick second. But for our in-house sales team in Tampa specifically, we're doing weekly pay. So we pay on a bi-weekly basis. I do a weekly bonus. We do health insurance, 401k, full portfolio of products. So our team in-house is not stuck on only selling one product. So every time they make a sale, they're making 4 or 5 product sales. They're blending the products, cross-selling. And as they're doing that cross-selling, they're earning towards more bonus. And I do, because I'm a sales guy, right? So I do my bonuses weekly. So if you have a bad day or a bad 2 days or, well, hell, a bad week, life happens, right? It's not going to ruin your entire month. When you're a commission-only agent, or you're dealing as a supported agent commission only, if you're not selling, you're eating what you kill. And the times are changing. It's more and more difficult to survive that way. And with our in-house sales team, management opportunities, really just making sure that you have all of the opportunities that you could possibly want, and that support of the team. We cover E&O, we cover all of that good stuff, and I'd love to explore those options with you. Anybody who's interested in the in-house positions in Tampa, you'll end up having a phone call with Viana or me. We'll talk a little bit about it, and then you got to come in. I got to meet everybody. It's just that's how I am. It's sort of like the old belly-to-belly days, but we also are going to have some opportunity. They're just finishing up the office in Central Florida, so there's going to be some seats available there. And then in South Florida and Hialeah, we have about 20 seats that are available there. Now, those positions in Central and South don't have the 401k or the health insurance, but they are doing some weekly pay with bonuses, so that way you have some predictability. And that's something that we can talk about on a one-on-one situation. All right. So before I get into earning potential, any questions so far? Just pause for a quick second. All right, I have a job now. How can I get an interview? Well, you have to have an interview. The interview is going to have to be during normal business hours. I'd love to accommodate after-hour interviews, but unfortunately right now I cannot. I have some obligations that wouldn't allow me to be here. So we just have to figure out a timing. And Viana, once you get her number at the end of the presentation, if you haven't spoken with her already, she can get you on my schedule or my calendar. Do we have to be able to use a computer to do online sales? Yes, absolutely. That's interesting. But so here's one thing you're going to learn about us really quick. I have no problem. My team has no problem bending over backwards to help you learn about insurance or product or processing. No one has time to teach anybody how to use a computer. So if you do not have basic computer skills where you can go online, and I mean this in the nicest way possible, if you cannot go and do your FFM certification, if you haven't done AHIP online, if you're not purchasing things on Amazon, you don't know what Facebook is, you can't use the computer, emails are challenging, it's very difficult to work in the insurance side of things in this day and age. So you can go grab a computer for dummies, go get some testing and classes and things like that, get that taken care of, and let us know when you're comfortable with it, because all of our applications are done just like we're doing this meeting right now. You talk to a customer, you invite them onto your screen, and then you complete the application. I mean, it's beautiful. It's great. but you got to be able to use a computer. So it's a little tougher if you don't have those basic skills. Can I switch from supported to unsupported anytime? Yes and no. So if you are coming in as unsupported and then you want to go to supported, typically that's a problem because of leads and contracts and things like that. But if you start as supported and then you want to go to unsupported, we can absolutely explore that. But we would have to have a one-on-one conversation. We should just pick the right one in the beginning, right? So that's where a conversation, what's important to you, what you want to do, what are your goals? Let's just make the right decision the first time. It's like people flopping back and forth agencies to agency, which it happens all the time, right? So you guys talk with me or Viana, and then we say, okay, here's our contract, and the next thing you know, you call somebody else, and they say, we're going to give you $10 more, and you want to switch. And that it's to make the right decision first, and that's really kind of where we're at. Do you need E&O insurance, and are in-house positions full-time only? Yes, in-house positions are full-time only because it's too much to learn for you to be a part-time agent. If you are in-house, you do not need E&O. We cover that. If you are field agent, 1099, then you will need to carry errors and omissions insurance. Depending on your location and what your goals are, Charles, we could always look at, because we do have some part-time stuff that may be coming up during open enrollment. But again, we'll explore that on a one-on-one basis. All right. So one of the things we need to talk a little bit about is understanding that this is, as much as you hear 45 days, as much as you hear open enrollment, AEP, OEP, there is a full year's worth of opportunity out there that I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden insurance agents forgot all about. Well, we sell all year long. And if we take a snapshot of what our average agent does during open enrollment, average Joe Schmo agent, nothing special, you're going to be writing 300 plus new members every AEP. And that's really like almost minimum expectations. When we look at sales process during open enrollment, that's just a small piece of the pie. But we are getting paid for and completing SEP sales all year long, and ancillary sales all year long. And this is what separates the men from the boys, right? Or the girls from the ladies, however you want to talk about it. But like I've talked to other agency partners, guys that I know, they just kind of threw the towel in after open enrollment. But we continue to write SEPs. We're getting paid on SEPs. We're selling sales on ancillary products every single week. You have a full portfolio of products, including life and group, that you can utilize all year long. But what you have to think about, and as we start really pinning down your realistic earning potential, is how much time and dedication are you really going to devote to this? Is this just going to be a kind of, well, I think I'll play with it on the weekend a little bit, or maybe at night, I've got another job. I just want to manage your expectations that when you get involved with what we do, you really, the amount of education, the amount of time that it's going to take you from certifications to getting done, you'll hear me say this a lot. Might as well start it off now. Is the juice worth the squeeze, right? Is it really make sense for you to invest all that time if you're not really going to do it? So our guys will put down, our average agents are going to write 10, 15 applications a day. I've got agents that'll do 20 or 25 applications a day. So if you do the math, think about it. If I'm doing, in a 45-day window, how many days how many days are you going to work? What is that going to look like? How many apps can you potentially write a day? And that's why I say to you, using a computer, being effective and efficient is going to be really, really, really important. We break it down during open enrollment, apps per day, members per app, weekly sales, and packaging, right? So in a 45-day window, let's just say you're going to take 5 days off because you got, Thanksgiving Day, you may want to just spend with your family. I don't know. There's a couple of days in there. So if you're going to work 40 days and you're going to write 10 apps a day on average, you're going to have 400 apps. So I'm a math guy. Everybody should take a little bit of notes here. If you're doing 400 apps, each app has approximately 1.5 members. You're talking like 600 members, 10 a day. We average, from a supported agent and in-house, we average 2,000 to 3,000 phone calls every single day during open enrollment, with the last 2 days of enrollment in excess of 8 to 15. So the last day of open enrollment last year, we had 15,000 inbound phone calls. I don't know where else you're going to get that opportunity. That phone will ring wherever you are in the state. As long as you are on your computer, as long as you are answering the phone and getting involved, you're going to get that phone call. But if you're on the golf course, not so much. It's just your decision to work during that period. Your kind of thought process needs to go into, during A&P, OEP, how many apps per hour, that's how we're going to look at it. So if you're going to give you, I'm going to tell you once we see the process, because it's going to change a little bit, right? You should be able to process, 2 apps an hour. It was like 1.5 last year. But, that's how we're going to calculate how much money you're going to make during open enrollment. Because we're going to look and we're going to sit down together and we're going to say, great, how many days are you going to work? How many hours are you going to work a day? Well, if I work 12 hours a day, I'll make a lot more money. Absolutely. Because the potential is there. How many days will you work? How will you be prepared to do your enrollments? Are you going to have the appropriate equipment? Are you in the right contract option? Are you educated? How effective are you going to be? Do you know the portfolio? Have you been paying attention? Have you gone through the training? And, can we help? Can I dedicate how much time? Can I dedicate myself during these 45 days of open enrollment? And then the $64,000 question is, what will I do the rest of the year? Am I going to go and move to Costa Rica? We had our agents this year. We had the World Cup of Russia. They went for a month. That was beautiful. We had Australia. We had South America. We had Napa. Where else did everybody go? Somebody else went to Europe. It's insane. It's great. You know what I mean? It's phenomenal. But what our team typically will do is they'll bust their behind during open enrollment, March, April, take a little bit of a break, and then right back to the grind. So what are you going to do the rest of the year? How much business are you going to write? How much time are you going to dedicate? Can you do it? And then there's ancillary products. In this day and age, if you're walking into this conversation and you're saying, I'm just going to work open enrollment and then I'm not going to do anything the rest of the year, well, you're probably kidding yourself, because it's a volatile book of business. You need to diversify. You need to make sure that you're selling ancillary products, critical illness, accident. You need to make sure that you're selling other life products, Medicare products offered on a full year basis. Group insurance. Group insurance is growing. If many of you have been paying any attention to what's going on, like it or not, the economy, and people want to say all kinds of reasons, the economy is doing really good right now. Right? No matter who you voted for, the economy is doing pretty good, right? There's people that are getting involved, and people are moving away from the marketplace, getting back into group. You can go scoop that business up. It is a great annuity for yourself. We've got great support tools for group, enrollment platforms. We've got great partners. And again, we're not exclusive on Blue for group, so that makes things really easy. Products that pay weekly all year long. So it's important that you are embracing those products. And then, of course, like it or not, we're all going to die, right? At some point in time. It could happen anytime. Life insurance, we need to talk about it. You need to get in front of people. You could have a book of business that you write with us for for Medicare and for ACA, and then transition that into a follow-up appointment for you to write life insurance. Get out there into the marketplace. You cross-sell a book of business. And, how much can I and our team add to your income? How much can you add to your income outside of open enrollment? We've got agents that are, they're making $1,000+ a week just selling ancillary products. And I'm not even talking group. I'm saying on the phone, writing accident, critical illness, suite of products. and they're, getting paid weekly, and that's not too bad. I mean, I don't know what everybody else on the call is making, but that's not so bad. Fully attainable, fully attainable, and we'll support you getting there. So we are a fully supported agency. So we're going to help you get into group. We're going to help you get into Medicare if it's provider's office programs that you're looking at. So there's lots of different ways that we do this. And it's just about proper communication, getting involved. You want to be a leader, let us know you want to be a leader. If you want to build a team and get in there, you just got to start somewhere and really getting to know us. We are like a big family here at A&B. Dysfunctional at times, but a big family nonetheless, and we enjoy what we do. We all work really hard, and we support our team, and I want to make sure that we continue to do that. So let's pause. I got a couple questions that come in here. Are there set hours that we have to be logged into the system as a supported agent? Yeah, well, not really set hours. You go and log in when you are ready to work. So if the way that our systems work is you log into the calls, but calls during rest of year or ROI run differently than they do during open enrollment. So we run a ton of TV commercials. We run a bunch of different ways that we get people to talk to you, and we cannot always control when they answer or when they call in. So if you're only planning on working off hours, then you would have less opportunity from the live transfers in, but you can make outbound calls. Your lead requests just have to come in at a certain time, and we go through all of that in training. So that way, make sure that you're good to go on that. How do I get how do I get phone calls? How does that come through? So I don't know if anybody on the call has ever bought live transfers before. They're expensive, right? I mean, you're correct. Somebody's saying they're about $45, $50 each. That is an expensive live transfer. So what we do is we create our own live transfers. So we've got tons of opportunity. So how does the phone work, right? So you'll log into a web-based phone. You'd have a headset, USB headset, and when you log in, you tell the system that you're available for calls. And then if you qualify for that call based upon your credentialing, then you could get that call. So if you've done your Medicare certification, if you've done your ACA certification, if you can sell all the ancillary products and you've gone through those trainings, then you would get those calls. If you speak Spanish, you get Spanish calls. So we control all of those calls based on phone numbers. We also, which is really interesting for a lot of people, we get all of the overflow calls for Florida Blue when they close. They close at 5 o'clock. Lucky for us. So during open enrollment, there is an onslaught of calls that we also take from Florida Blue. They're transferred right in. So it's good stuff. Great opportunity. Is the training online for supported agents, or does it happen in person in Tampa? Both. Great question. So we have in-house training. So what we'll do is whenever I'm doing a new training class, I will invite all new agents, because it doesn't matter, like the opportunity, whether you're working as an in-house agent or whether you're a supported agent. They're all the same tools. The pitch is all the same. The rebuttals are the same. The product is the same. What you do is exactly the same. The difference is whether you're getting the weekly pay with bonus or whether you're commission only. So for a new agent, you can do all of your training online if you'd like, if you'd prefer it that way. Once the online training is done, then we go through some testing and make sure that everything is good to go. That way you can get qualified for calls. Great question. Alrighty then. Any other questions before I move on? So, basically here we're getting towards the end here, and I'll answer some more questions because there's been a few that have typed in. I just wanted to save it to the end. So what are the next steps? Like, what do I do next, right? So, well, first thing we got to really think about, what is the best contract solution for me? What is good for Rob is not good for Kim, which is not good for Charles, which is not good for James. Everybody's got their own. So talk with us, right? Give us a ring. Let's figure out what's going to be the best solution. Let's go over the detailed numbers, the contract levels, the payments, whether it's the bonus schedule or whether it's the commission schedule, unsupported, supported. Once we make that decision, it's not a decision that we take lightly. We would prefer to have a long-standing relationship. We want to work together. We want good communication. We complete electronic contracting. That electronic contracting is going to come to you from a DocuSign. So you'll complete that contracting, and here's where I need to pause. I want to manage your expectations of timeline. So let's just look, right? It's August. Let's just be honest. So if you're thinking that this is the way to go and you want to sell Florida Blue and you want to work with A&B or just sell Florida Blue in general, and you wait till the end of August, right? Or you wait to, let me just mull it over. Let's see. I'll wait till rates come out. Let's see what happens. Well, there's a good chance you miss it completely. And I want to make sure I manage those expectations as we get closer to open enrollment. The turnaround time for you to get your writing number is going to increase, and it's going to increase, and it's going to get longer and longer. Right now, I think we're working on about 7 to 10 business days. And normally during that 7 to 10 business days of you waiting to get your writing number, that's when we're doing training. We're watching videos, we're going through the training process, something that we call the new agent checklist, and going through that. So I just want to manage your expectations that you don't want to wait, right? The whole adage of you snooze, you lose. And this is not a sales technique. This is just, I've seen great agents lose lots and lots of money by waiting because we send in the contracting in September and Blue Cross is inundated with new agents. Next thing you know, you don't get your writing number until mid or at the end of open enrollment, and you get angry with us. But at the same time, it's really just do it sooner rather than later. No matter what that decision is, you should. Don't wait until the rates come out in October. So the next step is going to be get training. So you decide on it. You do the electronic contracting. We get you done. You understand it's going to take 2 weeks. We get you logged into all of our systems. We get you access to all of our video trainings. We make sure that your FFM certifications are done, get your education on all of the ancillary products so you can start making money now. You give you for instance, whether you're going to do supported agent or whether you're going to do a in-house agent, you start with ancillary products because we can do them immediately. It's just a lot simpler of a process. So we will service books of business. We'll make sure that we're taking care of people, and we sell them ancillary. And those ancillary get you paid weekly. But once you're trained and your FFM is done and you're good to go with our questions and answer, whether you're like, we're going to be doing an in-house training in the first week, and we're going to do it in August. So once we get them all set up for you, then we make sure that you start selling and get going. And that's what you need to do. And you need to take this decision-making process serious and get going and really and get involved. All right. So let's open it up to one last set of questions. Any questions about the contracts? Okay, on the contracts, is there an appointment fee for supported or unsupported agents? So yes, there is. $195 is the appointment fee, I believe, for a supported and unsupported contract. Now, before you fall out of your chair and be like, holy Hannah, you already said I couldn't, you don't charge us for anything. Well, we do a charge appointment fee. We cover it all subsequent years. The first year, you cover it. And then all subsequent years, A&B covers it as long as you have enough business under management. So some people will ask the next question, it actually came right up, is there a production requirement? So answer this in 2 phases, right? So with the contracts, if you're a supported, unsupported agency, there's an appointment fee. So you pay the appointment fee, we'll cover it for the subsequent years. As long as you have 100 contracts under management. Blue Cross gives us 2 years for you to get that 100 contracts under management. If you're not planning on selling And, if 100 contracts seems like a daunting task for you, we are probably not the agency for you, because we have an expectation that you are going to write business. If you're a supported agent, I'll give you for instance, our in-house sales team are writing, between 20 and 30 contracts a week. Right? So if you're on this call today, you're like, oh, I could probably do 25, ACA plans, maybe 1 or 2 Medicare. There, for the level of support that we're going to do, that take an unsupported contract for that. You're going to have to definitely take advantage and want to step it up a little bit, because for all of the education and the training and all the things that are asked of you as an agent for follow-up and servicing of this business, if that's what you're planning on doing, I wouldn't even do it. I wouldn't even waste my time. You could go find a couple of $1,000s, way easier, sell more life insurance, get something else, together with that. So another question came in: can I switch between contracts? We'll have that conversation one-on-one. I would want to understand why you would even thinking that, up front, right as we get go, because I would prefer to get the right contract the first time and get it right. Sometimes you make mistakes, but we can at least have that conversation. Can I switch from an in-house salesperson to an outside salesperson at any time? No. So, we do not, and this is we. So I have gotten into some issues with that, where I've seen people that were not successful, and what had happened is I had some wildly successful in-house agents who were following the path, writing 15, 20 applications a week, went to outside agents, supported, and decided that that was a good time for them to take a vacation. And then they floundered. So it was really sad. So lost some good agents like that because they didn't dedicate the time. When they were coming in every day, it was one thing. It was, punching in, getting the thing, getting the breaks, getting the insurance. Everything was great. And then, okay, I'm going to go 1099, and I think I can go play golf or sit on the beach. And nobody pays me to go to the beach. Yeah. Or then they go get another job because they want to be a 1099 agent, which really doesn't make any sense. So, going back to another question about part-time. So, again, it's just, if you're going to devote a part-time commitment, understand that, it's typically part-time income. And is it worth the time from education? So I just want to stress on that. It's just that you're going to have to stress that you are going to stress if you're not educated, you don't know what you're talking about. And, if you're only working at night or you're only working on the weekends, you can write a lot of business. There's plenty of people that do so, but you really don't want to come in as a new agent for that. So support levels, I didn't want to get to it now. So what do you do, from support? So we provide leads. So you get a CRM system. So you log in, you have a login for that. We'll provide you with leads. There's no cold calling on any of our leads. We don't cold call. So we create our own leads. We don't even really buy any leads anymore because they're garbage. So we create our own. We do a lot of social media. We do a ton of TV. So a lot of the calls are just calls in. And then, you work with those people, talk with them. And like, if you do an event, so if you go out and we do like the Strawberry Fest, the Garlic Fest, we do all kinds of different events throughout the state. So again, we support you with the leads, the opportunities, and making sure that we give you what you're looking for. Now, if you go unsupported, we can take a look at your production, as I said. If there's, a way that we can help in a marketing piece, if there's ways that we can offset the cost, if you want to join certain groups or networking groups, we could always take that on a one-by-one basis. Our marketing, a lot of the things that we're doing, we use a lot of different names besides just Florida Blue when we market. And that's simply so we can engage the entire community. Because a lot of people, when you think of Florida Blue, you think it's expensive and, it has maybe a stigma attached to it, negative or positive, depending on your perspective. but we make sure that we embrace all opportunities that we could possibly get. Okay. From a product perspective, one of the things that I did want to touch on a little bit is making sure that you were really comfortable with all the products you had to offer. So full line of ancillary products, life, group, on and off marketplace, short-term medical. So where a lot of the agencies that are out there that are selling against Blue Cross, they've got all these kind of crazy pitches, and we listen to them all the time. It's really funny. You'll have a full portfolio of Florida Blue products, ancillary products, both with Florida Blue and outside of Florida Blue. And if any of you are, don't want to sell the Florida Blue product line, that's fine. We do have a slew of other products that you may want to embrace, and we could talk about that as well. Susan, this is perfect. Good for your question. Training. So on the training, how long is the training? A lot of people ask, or what does the training entail? The training is as long or as short as you need it to be. The in-person training is 1 week, no more than 1 week, and it's done inside the Tampa office. All of the training that we do live is also already recorded. So you can invest about 8 to 10 hours worth of time, and you could watch all of our training videos, and then you would complete a little question and answer that we give you. It's called the 50 questions. Actually, I just redid it, and I think it's up to like 80. Go through those questions. It's scenario testing, and it is a self-assessment test. We go through that together. How much do I know? How much do I not know? What do I need to brush up on? And, we kind of go from there, and then that gets us going. So we do questions and answers. We check, pitch and presentation, rebuttals. Do you know what the FPL chart is? Do you know what an ABC variant is? Do you know how to search for drugs and blah, 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 blah. I can go on forever. But I am a bit of a control freak, just a little bit. And I do all of that live training along with a couple of our other agents, Alejandro, and he also helps. And then Ryan and some other team members also help with that training. But, we make sure you get a couple of different perspectives. We do some shadowing inside the Tampa office. And if you're working outside, if you're in South Florida or Central, and it's, you can't make the drive to Tampa, no harm, no foul. Like I said, all of our tools are accessible wherever you're at. So you'll be able to get that training done, and we will make sure you are educated. Plus Blue Cross, right on the portal, they have a bunch of training modules that you can do. All righty then. So, do I have any other questions? Anything I did not cover that might be important to everyone? Brilliant. Okay, so let's what do you do next? Give us a call, right? Give Viana or Crystal a call. Number right on the screen, 813-288-9500. They will be happy to talk with you about details. If you're looking for an in-house position in the Tampa office, they'll set you up on a meeting with me. We could do a quick phone call if you'd like to go over bonuses, schedules, and things like that. But typically, you're going to want to come in and see the office, see the location, meet the team. Supported or unsupported contracts, absolutely. They can go over the numbers with you, and then we can make a decision on what's going to be best, and kind of go from there. And again, ask those questions, talk to us a little bit about it, make sure that you're comfortable, and then let's hit the ground running, because there is no time like the present. We're going to run out of time. I mean, it's just what's going to happen. And next thing you know, it's going to be open enrollment 2020, and heaven knows what that's going to look like. So, all of you, if I don't have any questions, please, give us a ring one way or the other, kind of talk to us a little bit. I really thank everybody for being a part of this meeting today. Hopefully you got an opportunity to learn some stuff about us and get to talk to you. So I look forward to talking to you all and having a bunch of you guys join the team. So give us a call. Have a great day, and God bless. Ciao.